Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Most of us here in Wellington hear a lot of thunder and lightning outside, so let's hope our connection stays. Yes, Eric put on the in the chat room the virtual Siddur or prayer book. So if you want to follow along in the prayer book, you can click on that link and I will announce the pages in the bottom where you see the two diagonal brackets. You punch that page into those brackets and then the page of the prayer book will actually come up. Every week, for some reason, I raise prayer book when I actually say prayer book as if you don't know what a prayer book is. But you know, the weeks have gone on. It seems like it's longer and harder, and we all need Shabbat. We all need that break, that demarcation from the regular week, which is kind of like droning on for us and many of us, but we have to find a way to separate it and devote it to our friends, our family, to God, and that starts tonight, and that starts right now. So Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And I've been having a lot of fun figuring out how to use these new apps in our new world that we are in. So I'm going to share my screen with you for our opening song, which is a duet featuring me and myself. And Shalom Aleichem. Whoop. Technology. One sec. I'm going to get this. Here we go.
Shalom Aleichem, Malchei Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Cantor, that was amazing. That is so cool. You outdid yourself from last week. I can't wait to see some other things you've got coming up.
We got one more special something I worked out tonight.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Tonight is special for many reasons. First and foremost, it's Shabbat. But also we are going to be honoring two particular individuals who, after a year of study and learning, today became Jews by choice. That's Brent Roy and Jason Smith, and they're on tonight. And we have given the Roy family, Janelle and Brent, and they had Ethan, and they've got little Alexandra in there. And I think Janelle and Brent, Eric, are going to light our candles for us, right? Go back to them. and they're going to usher in Shabbat, and we're going to say Mazel Tov to them and Mazel Tov to Brent, who had a big smile on his face today. We're going to hear from them later.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Very nice. Shabbat Shalom. And Brent, if you can, check out the chat room because all your friends are giving you hoo-has right now. So Mazel Tov. Let's turn to page 38 and usher in the Shabbat Queen with Lakadodi.
Sofna ose b'machshava tehila שלום עצרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לי 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 יאללה לה 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 לך דודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 בני שבת נקרבת יאללה לה 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 לך דודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 בני שבת נקרבלה.
So I don't know what to say except thank you. I will tell everybody that the cantor said that she had some surprises and some things that she was going to do very special for Shabbat tonight. I did not know what they were, but I trusted her, and that was amazing. And thank you very much,
Thank you.
cantor. I'm
I
speechless.
like to keep everyone guessing.
Keep them guessing. Let's turn to page 44 for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ויעלמה דברה חירותי וימלך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולם עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתעטר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעולמה ויאמרו אמן.
So our prayer book right before the Baruch Hu has a little poem or writing piece, if you will, and I want to read it to you. It's on page 45. It says, entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely places and through unlikely places and unlikely times, there is no place on earth without the presence. That's sort of a gateway into the Baruch Hu, and we're going to rise for the Baruch Hu, but this is certainly one of those unlikely times and places where we still feel the presence. Page 46. If you're able to and you want, please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Page 48, Ma'ariv Aravim in the Hebrew. Let's read. You can read out loud together if you can. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim v'hokma poteach sha'arim uvitvuna mishanei itim machalif et hazmanim u'misader et hakochavim v'mishmaratehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla u'mavdil bein yom u'vein layla Adonai tzavaot shemo El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu le'olam va'ed. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. We also praise God for giving us laws and commandments Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people, Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Milton Steinberg once wrote that salvation is the Jews' victory over human limitations of ignorance and insensitivity. We always have a strong belief in redemption, and this is the song of redemption, the Mika Mocha.
Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. The sea she parts, Michamocha, the sea she parts, Michamocha, the sea she parts, Michamocha, freedom's on our way. Freedom, freedom, sing it, Carol. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Walking through the water, Michamocha, walking through the water, Michamocha, walking through the water, Michamocha, freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. One God, Michamocha, one God, Michamocha, one God, Michamocha, freedom's on our way. Last time, everyone. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Freedom's on our way. Freedom's on our way. Thank you, Shai.
Little duet there with Shai, so thank you very much. Maybe you can also join in the prayer of Shelter of Peace, Hashkivenu, which is on page 60, my favorite prayer in all of the Friday night service.
It is my favorite also. You still have to remind me, what's the one that Lila likes from camp?
I'll get her to come down here and tell you because you've never heard it before.
This is my favorite, and also this English is my favorite, especially right now. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu Hashkiveinu Lechaim. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu Hashkiveinu Leshalom.
So I don't know if you noticed, but Jason Smith just posted in the chat that there's a beautiful rainbow outside, which I can't see because I got trees in my backyard, but I see a lot of sun, which means I bet there's a beautiful rainbow outside.
I'm sending my scout out right now.
That in Judaism, and whenever you see a rainbow, you say Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zocher habrit v'ne'eman bivrito v'kayam b'ma'amaro. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign in the universe, true to your word. You remember your covenant with creation.
I think you may have just lost half the congregation, but maybe we should take a minute and everyone can take a look at it. It's right outside.
Because everyone wants to go look at
All
it.
right, good. Go to
Yeah.
your work. Go.
Did you see it, Shai?
So pretty.
Let's see. I don't know if that will show up, but there we go. For those who can't go outside, you might be able to see it. We just got it.
Yeah, that's great. For those of us living in Royal Palm Beach, I don't think we're getting it.
You have to live in Wellington. It's all about Wellington.
Because now we're going to, if you can, let's rise for tefillah beginning on page 64.
Except we don't have a cantor. Hey, Rabbi.
Where'd she go?
There's the cantor.
Sorry, I derailed everything there.
I'm sorry. I went to go look at the rainbow. It's amazing.
All right, well, we're ready for you, cantor.
Are we ready for a little tefillah?
Yes.
Yes.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei avotenu b'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידה מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Let's turn to page 77, a prayer called Hoda'ah, or thanks. Fixed prayer, as we know it. There's two ways to pray. One is meditationally or spontaneously. You can pray anywhere, any way, anytime. And then there's what's called fixed prayer, which is what our Friday night service is, of course, and any kind of worship service that we have in Judaism. The key to fixed prayer is, or the magic to it rather, is that it takes on different meaning if you really concentrate on it each time you say it. Each time the Shema evokes a different feeling. It may come back at a different time or another time, but it's supposed to be renewal. It's supposed to be different feeling that you get. So I want you to listen to these words of the prayer on page 77, Hoda'ah, or Thanksgiving, which we read all the time. But it brings on, I think, a different meaning these days. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha, ucha na'eh lehodot. Let's take a moment for our own prayers and meditations and whatever meaning prayer brings to you at this time.
yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down, bring peace down, bring peace down.
Beautiful. Page 271 is our prayer for healing. Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu. Hu yivarech et ha'cholim v'rapeh. As we pray for a refuah shlema, speedy, full, and healthy recovery for all those who are in need of some kind of healing. We hope that you're thinking of them now, saying their name in your heart and in your head as Cantor leads us in the Mishabera.
Strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Look at that. Eric, did you send me this?
No, actually Gabe did.
That was Gabe.
That is amazing. If you look at it closely enough, there's actually two rainbows, one on top of each other. But Gabe, thank you. That's
It was a double rainbow.
it was a double rainbow. I wonder if you're supposed to say the bracha twice. I don't know.
And see, Eric, if you put me on, I'll show you what else I did. Hold on. See? I got me and Sherry. That's got to be good luck.
That's got to be, well, right. Very good. I'm going to ask a question that I think everybody is going to be able to resonate with, because if not before in your life, certainly all of us now will understand this question. But have you ever seen something in your life that just feels so insurmountable that you just can't get over it? You won't be able to handle it. It's just such a big force in your life that when you stare at it, you say to yourself, this can't be done. I think all of us, as we mature, as we grow older, see that. And we see failures and we see successes, but we also come to understand through our experience that having the right mental attitude and optimism has so much to do with our ability to overcome. But when you're staring into the face of something that just seems so impossible, it's easy to draw yourself into the notion that it's just too much. It's not going to be able to be overcome. How are you going to make it? And if there wasn't something that you can draw upon in your experience before, which I think everybody who's gone through significant steps of life has. We certainly can draw upon the experience that all of us are experiencing now, which is this pandemic and COVID. I was on the phone with a few people today, and everybody keeps reminding me that back in March, we were all hoping that this was not going to be the case by now. Even some of the most optimistic people have learned that we're still in this and we're going on for a while. But when you think about that moment, have you also ever considered and thought back on it and you're reminiscing and said to yourself, you know what? I came out of it. I came out of it on the other side and I'm alive. Why was I so worried? And maybe I over worried. And why didn't I say to myself, Gamze Yavor, this too shall pass, because it all just seemed to work out. Not to say that there wasn't any kind of pain involved in the situation or struggle. And it doesn't work out right all the time, and we know that. But often it does. And I think we're in one of those situations right now. The psychological impact of positivism and optimism is such an inherent part of the DNA of Judaism. And we have no better example of that than a story that God tells to us in this week's Torah portion. Before I even get to that, fast forward thousands of years later, and it's still a part of our DNA and our Jewish makeup to be positive as in an outlook like this that we're looking to. I said the other day in one of our board meetings, it's sometimes falsely attributed to Golda Meir. We don't know if she said it or not, but it's reported that one time the ex-prime minister of Israel was asked by a reporter in the face of a lot of countries that were eventually going to attack Israel and try to wipe her off the map. And this was back in a time when Israelis didn't know if they were going to see the next day or not. When Nasser of Egypt was getting on the radio and saying, we're going to drive all the Jews into the Mediterranean Sea, and the actual existence of Judaism was very much at stake. And the reporter asked her, when you look ahead for Israel, are you an optimist or are you a pessimist? And she replied, I'm Jewish, which means I have no other choice other than to be an optimist. And she understood, as the former prime minister, the psychological impact of seeing something that we see today and not saying to ourselves, we're not going to make it. This is not insurmountable, but instead saying there's a positivism to this and we are going to make it, and there is hope, and there is another side of the rainbow, excuse me, if you will, for all of this. You know, I want to tell you a quick story. I had when I was a lawyer, I practiced law with a friend of mine who played for a while in the NFL, and his brother played in the NFL too. And of all the teams that he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where I was from. If you know anything about the Buccaneers, they were the most horrendous team for years and years and years. And I remember having a conversation with him, and he said, you know something, Andy? You have no idea how much attitude is a part of professional sports. Once the idea of losing seeps into the locker room, it's just infectious. And it just goes from week to week. And all you want to do is get over the losing game that you know you're going to have on Sunday. And I still think about that conversation today because it's a sports analogy, but what he said was right. It's not just a matter of drawing up a play and handing it off to the running back and hoping the hole opens up. And if you do the play right, you score a touchdown. But it's what's going on in your head that matters so much in trying to deal with a situation, including the situation that we have right now. So I said to you that there's an example of this that God gives us in the story in this week's Torah portion. So what you have to picture is that the Israelites have now made their way through the desert. And this is from the book of Numbers in the Torah portion Shlach. And they're just on the verge of about to enter into the promised land that God has said that they are going to be living in. And God instructs Moses to send spies into the land to see what it looks like, to see how surmountable it is, to see what Israel's future enemies are going to be. Is it flowing with milk and honey? God even says, take note to even see if there are trees. And he sends these 10 spies out into the wilderness. One from every tribe, 12 spies, and they go out and then they come back to report to the Israelites about what they are going to see. And while they were there to show how bountiful this new land of Eretz Yisrael is, almost as if they were teasing the Israelites, they cut down a branch with these huge grapes, and it's so big that one man has to hold it on one shoulder and the other man in the back has to hold it on the other shoulder. And you can imagine these grapes as big as your head. You often see this motif in art in Judaism, carrying the grapes. And they come back and they give this report. And the report is a very negative report, or at least 10 of them give a very negative report. And they say, we can't do this. This is all insurmountable. The people are strong that dwell there. And this is the fruit that they're able to produce. Their cities are fortified. They're all great. They're all too big for us. It's a land that, and they say this, it eats up its inhabitants. It's actually reported in the story. And then they go even further and say, we're so tiny to these giants of human beings that we look like grasshoppers to them. We try to go in there, they're going to stomp us like grasshoppers. Two of them, however, don't look at it that way. And they come back with a report and say, Moses, we can do this. We can do this. We can overcome and we can make this. God promised this to us, and we are going to be able to do this. And there's a special word that God gave them before they went on their spying expedition. God didn't have to say, go do this, but God gave them a little bit of a pep talk, or Moses gave them a little bit of pep talk through God's instructions. And ends with the word in Hebrew, it's vihit chazaktem, which means to go with good courage, right? Go with good courage. Chazak, chazak, be strong, be courageous. Now, when you're given instructions, sometimes you don't need to hear that, but sometimes when you're in a situation, you need that mental attitude to understand that you're going to be able to overcome. So these two spies, they come back and they say, if God really believes that we're the ones who are going to do this, let's take faith in that. God's going to give this. We can do this. Let's overcome. We can do this. And of course, what's the end of the story? But exactly that is what happens. It's one of the greatest gifts of the Jewish people to be able to have this optimism. And this is the perfect story in our Torah that reminds us of that. There wasn't a need for that word to be strong and be courageous. God, like I said, had already made that covenant with us. Had already promised us that. This is what they had come for. But that optimism and that positive outlook is what gives those two who were rewarded later the ability to be able to convince Moses and the people that, yes, eventually it convinces them that they are going to come to terms and be able to overcome the situation that they're presented with. Sometimes just reminding ourselves means so much to us. You have to repeat it in your head over and over again, because if you don't allow yourself to give yourself the mental capability and capacity to say that this is one day going to end, this pandemic eventually is not going to be here. Somehow, some way, we're going to survive this. And we're going to come out of this, and there's going to be that rainbow proverbially at the other side of the street. We don't have the luxury of being able to say that this is going to impact our lives in such a negative way. We have to remain optimistic. It mentally prepares us. It does something to us mentally to be able to say that again and again and again and again. And I think the reason why I'm delivering this message is two reasons. One, it's the perfect story, the story of the grasshoppers, where we get this lesson from our tradition and we really are able to bring the text to our own lives. But secondly, I think there's a little bit of a depressive mood that's set in with a lot of people. You know, back in March when we went into quarantine, it's now June, and summer is here, and here we are. And I was optimistic that I was going to send my kids to camp. I was optimistic that I was going to take this nice, big, beautiful vacation. I was optimistic on all these things. It's not happening now. So I have a choice. I can either be one of the 10 spies who come back and say, this is terrible, and we're done for, and this is never going to end. Or I can be like the two who say, God is with me. This is going to pass. Gamze Yavor, this too shall pass. And eventually, at the end of the day, we're all going to come back together again, and we're going to dance, and we're going to sing, and life is going to return to normal. We have no choice but to say that. Okay, so it was a beautiful day today, and it's something that I love doing and really look forward to being with people for. There's no greater joy for a rabbi than to watch somebody progress through a year's worth of intense study of Judaism and then choose on their own to be Jewish. And it's not because I take pride in any kind of teaching or anything like that. It's because I get to be a part of that. I get to witness it firsthand. I get to be with those people as they go through it. And we had a really nice class this year. There were 3 people, Jason Smith and Brent Roy and Jessica Zusel. We missed Jessica, who couldn't be there today. But we will honor her later. The 3 of them were amazing. And today, Brent and Jason became Jewish, Jews by choice. So I see Eric's put the camera on Jason, Mazel Tov, and we're just going to give Jason a minute or 2 to say a few words.
No pressure.
Hey, everybody. I have my whole family here with me. Thank you, Rabbi, for today and for everything for the past year and even before that. Many of you know that our family's been a member of the temple for over 10 years, and we've, you know, it's part of our life. It's part of who we are, and I'm so glad that right now I can be a full-fledged member. You know, what's kind of fitting about this is that I chose my Jewish name, Meyer. It means from the light. Many times, whenever there's things that are going wrong in my life, or there's things I just don't understand, like why things are going the way they are, the opportunity presents itself where there's a rainbow in front of me. And I realize that if I just stop for a second and calm down and think for a second, then everything's really going to be okay. And so I've always thought of rainbows as this kind of clarifying event in my life that they tend to make me realize that what Rabbi was talking about in a sermon, we need resilience. We need to be able to know that whatever problem is happening right now is temporary, and that in the end we're going to be okay. And so when I chose my name for a Hebrew name, because rainbows are a combination of all light, the colors of the rainbow are from the light. You shine a light through a prism, it turns into a rainbow. Then, you know, that's kind of what all that kind of means to me. So I'm so happy to be here tonight for this reason. And I love my family. I love you all. And thanks.
Thanks, Jason. Yes, Meyer means from the light. So wonderful words. Let's go over to Brent.
Thank you, Rabbi. I appreciate that. So like Jason, I had the opportunity to kind of join in halfway through a second class, and it's great to see a lot of those members on here as well. It's been an amazing journey over the past 18 months. This took a little bit longer than we initially anticipated it happening, with a few hiccups along the way. And it's funny that you talked so much today about optimism tonight. And you know, as we ventured down the road today and we got closer and closer, and we're looking at the weather, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, all right, we gotta stay optimistic. It's not gonna rain today. It's not gonna happen. This is gonna happen. And we got down to the beach, and it was just the most beautiful day once again on the beach, and just an amazing ceremony. This whole process has just been absolutely amazing to go through this journey. I appreciate the opportunity that we've had throughout the classes, our one-on-one talks that we've had, Rabbi, throughout. I would say I'm going to miss those, but I hope we continue to continue on our lifelong learning and continue to build this tradition with our family going forward. So thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Jason. Brent chose the Hebrew name Givon, which means strength, fortitude. So it almost feels like everything's coming into place perfectly on this particular Shabbat. Between from the light and strength and fortitude, we, I think, cover all bases. Howie, we'll catch Jessica at another time. Oh, there you are. Look at that. Hey, Howie, wave to everybody. All right. We'll catch your wife at another time. And you look great, by the way, man. Look at that. Okay. So thank you to everyone. And Donna Rossman is from our Board of Trustees. And we are going to go to her with some greetings and announcements.
Donna, if you can just unmute.
Did I just do it?
Nope, you're unmuted.
Good.
I am unmuted. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Donna Rossman. I'm on the board here at Temple Beth Torah, and I'm so glad you all were able to join us, whether it's on Facebook or Zoom. We have some events here coming up. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. is Torah study. You don't have to have any previous knowledge. Just come join us. We're a very friendly group. Monday's email will give you the full schedule of all the classes and things we have coming up this week. One highlight will be a cooking class with Jill, and we had one a couple weeks ago where we baked bread, and it was a lot of fun, and everyone really enjoyed it. And everyone have a wonderful Shabbat.
Very nice. Thank you, Donna. Let's wrap up our service with our concluding prayers. And the first one is Aleinu, which means it is upon us. And I'm going to say Aleinu, it is upon us to praise God and praise our lives that we have today. So let's turn to page 300 as we rise, if you're able, for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We take a moment to think of all of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Our sincere condolences to a few people in our congregational family who recently buried some loved ones and are in the period of Shloshim, or the 30 days from the time of death until this evening. And we are thinking about all of you. And we mentioned by name Martin Rotter, who is the father of Amy Blumstein, Eugene Cohen, the father of Darlene Leibowitz, Louis Alomar, who is the brother of Elise Kessler, Renee Grossman, the grandmother of Fred Chernoff, and Richard Beckerman, who is a good friend of Lynn Furman and Sylvia Gordon. We also mentioned by name those whose yard sites fell during this week. Their anniversaries of their death were during this past week. Sarah Erokar, James B. Katz, Jack Lipton, Albert Rossman, Donna's father, Stephanie Wolf, and Murray Zaretsky. If there's anyone else whose yard site with this week and you want me to say their name out loud, you can type it in the chat room off to the right. And while they're doing that, if you want to get the Mourner's Kaddish, it's on page 312. In the Reform movement, we all rise for the Mourner's Kaddish because there were people recently in our history who died and didn't have somebody to say Kaddish for them. We also remember Cantor Irwin Hirsch. So with that, let's all rise for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash me'rabah v'yamad v'rach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh v'chayechon u'v'yamachon u'v'chayeh d'chol Beit Yisrael v'agalah u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabah me'rach le'olam u'lamei amayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudishah b'richu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata v'amiram ma'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. V'sei shalom b'mroma v'yasei shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all of Israel, to which we say amen. All right, so we are going to do a little Kiddush and Motzi, and then Cantor will bring us home with a very special song. So let's go back to the Smith family. Jason, Kiddush first.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. L'chaim.
First Kiddush, very nice. As somebody who is a Jew by choice, we are proud of you.
You guys want to lead us in the motzi? I'm sure your challah is
There you go. Here, I'll hold the challah.
Oh.
Oh.
Here's famous challah.
Look at that. Unbelievable.
All right. All right. Say it together, right?
Okay.
Baruch atah
Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Man.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, really?
Sarah?
The challah cam.
Yeah. Look at that crumb structure. All right. How did you count?
Okay, Cantor.
So I actually planned on doing something different, but you always have to be on your toes. Adon Olam can be sung to any tune, so let's see if you can figure this one out before I get into the English. I wish I played the banjo, but I don't. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra.
Pretty amazing, Cantor.
So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Everyone, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me, all of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Now this is a problem for me because there's a key change and I'm making up the chords right now. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. I did my best.
So we say Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Cantor. Thank you, Eric, for guiding us. Thank you to the Smiths and the Roys. Our condolences to Amy and her family, to Fred and his family. We're glad that you were able to join us for Shabbat so that you could say Kaddish for your loved one. And everybody, enjoy your Shabbat. Let's remain optimistic in Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.